Hello everyone, today we're going to take a look at the Resto Druid in Legion Alpha. We're at their order hall. It's called the Dream Grove, it's a very nice forest area as you can see here. And the Resto Druid hasn't changed much since Warlords of Draenor. We're going to be going through their skills, their talents and their artifact traits. And I hope you find this video interesting and learn something new along the way. Don't be afraid to ask any questions in the comments below. So let's get started with the skills. Starting on with the skills, we have the basics as always, which means that rejuvenation is here, life bloom is here, a powerful hot, healing touch is here, slow, low mana cost, regrowth by default right now having a 60% increased chance for a critical effect, Barskin, your life saving skill both in PvP and PvE situations, Swiftment, another very amazing and very powerful skill, 30-second cooldown, heals for a pretty big amount. Efflorescence, this is your group heal you put on the melee group, your whole red when stacked or whenever there are people. Heals 3 targets at a time for a moderate amount, a hot quality amount, which is very good. Over time it's gonna be doing mass healing. Wild Growth is your powerful big raid or party cooldown. I really like the spell, it's one of my favorite. Your basic dispels here. Your tank cooldown is going to be Iron Bark. It's going to be weaker than the other healing classes, but on a much lower cooldown, which in my opinion is better. It will have much more uses. You're going to be asked to use it much more regularly, and I really like it because it works as well with your mastery, so it's going to be strong as well in PvP. As you can see, skills are pretty much the same in Legion, but there's going to be a big change in Tranquility. Most druids are not going to be happy about it, but all healing cooldowns get nerfed to an extent that they're just an extra supplement in moments of big damage, which means you're going to be casting your healing cooldown and other healers are going to be struggling as well to keep the raid alive, which is a win-win situation in my opinion, because not only you do amazing heal and save mana at the time, but your other healers are also doing their job and they're not just standing there watching you heal, which is a very nice change. I really like it and I hope Blizzard keeps this at the same tuning. The tuning right now from what I've seen on raid testing is nice. Healing cooldowns do provide enough healing boost in order to keep the raid alive, while other healers are doing their job as they would normally do. And yeah, that's the biggest change, so let's move on to the talents. Moving on to the first row, we have Prosperity, which basically gives your Swiftment 2 charges. I don't see that being used in raids, it's more like a PvP talent. Scenario Ward, like an extra cooldown on your tank or a target. Again, I consider this a PvP talent. I don't really like it. Germination is amazing, it is powerful and it works very well with our new mastery, which increases your healing on target for a fixed amount, increased by your mastery of course. For each of your different restoration heal over times effect you have. So if you have 2 rejuvenations, you're going to be doing increased healing, which is amazing. You're going to be want to use this to your maximum potential, and that's why I think Germination is going to be the core talent for ending. Next up we have Renewal. On a static fight, you're going to be using this if you don't want to move extra healing. Displacer Beast as it used to be, Wild Charge as it used to be. Now we have on the third row the affinities. We have Balance Affinity, which increases your healing by 5 yards. I think this is gonna be amazing in PvP. In maybe some combo setups, I'm not a PvP expert, but having 5 yards extra is gonna be very nice if you can outrange some abilities. Feral Affinity, which is a movement speed increase and some abilities as well as Balance Affinities, which is extra damage. Guardian Affinity reduces damage taken by 10%. This is also good in PvP. I have to admit, because you can get it to bear form and you can use some Iron Fury and stuff like that, so it's gonna be a big debate between these two in PvP. In PvE situation I would go with Guardian Affinity. I like the extra survivability, it's very annoying when people die in raids. So yeah, that's it. I think either Balance Affinity might be used, I don't know, for extra range when the raid has to split so much, but I doubt there's gonna be a fight like that. So yeah, let's move on to the next talents. So these are all crowd control talents, situational depending on what you need to use. Mighty Bass is here, stun, mass entanglement is here, just the roots main targets. Typhoon is here, that is knocking targets back and dazes them. So I think it's gonna be dependent on the fight. They might have its uses, they might not. So let's move on to the next talent, which is a more important one. On the next row we have Soul of the Forest, so when you cast Swiftment, increases the healing and buffs some of your other spells, which means that your growth or rejuvenation get increased by 200% or your wild growth gets by 75%. It is a pretty nice talent, but I would prefer Incantation Tree of Life, which increases your healing by 15%. It also increases armor, but that's a PvP thing. And also improves some of your healing spells, which is, for example, Rejuvenation, Mana Cost Reduction, Healing Increase, Wild Growth, 2 more targets, and which other spells increases Regrowth, of course, Instant Cast. So yeah, I think the Tree of Life is the go-to talent because it's gonna be the extra healing when you need it. Abundance is like a basic healing talent that's pretty passive, I don't really like it. It uses the cast time of your healing touch by 80% for every rejuvenation you have active, and the critical chance of regrowth by 80%. It could be used in situations where there is gonna be low and steady damage throughout the whole fight, where you need to save that mana and cast some healing touch here and there, but I don't really like healing touch. I would go with rejuvenation spamming instead of healing touch. But we have to see how it plays out. Moving on to the third row, we have Spring Blossom, which basically is a buff to Efflorescence. Pretty boring, heals extra over 8 seconds, which by the way makes it even more boring because it's another hot. Inner Peace, this is pretty scary talent because it might be very powerful, even though Tranquility got nerfed together with Arcane cooldown, so but still having a cooldown every 2 minutes instead of 3 is amazing. If you're gonna get these uses out of a fight, I think Inner Peace is gonna be amazing. It might make druids important in some raids, and I really like this talent. I think it's gonna be powerful. On the other hand, we have Cultivation, so when Rejuvenation heals target below 60%, it applies a healing over time again. It's a pretty nice healing bonus, to be honest, and in progress where people deploy, I think it's gonna be amazing. It's a nice boost to your rejuvenation. Moving on to the last row, we have Moment of Clarity. It increases your maximum energy by 30, but that doesn't matter for Resto. And your Moment of Clarity affects your next 3 regrowths. That is a lot of regrowth spamming. It's pretty powerful, and you're gonna get pretty much many uses over time in a raid environment, which might be useful, but for the moment I won't be using this talent. Stonebark just reduces the cooldown of Ironbark by 30% and increases healing by 20%. Again, I consider this a PvP talent, pretty situational talent of the tank. I don't see it being used in a raid, maybe in challenge modes, maybe challenge modes it will be nice. Finally, we have Flourish. This is my favorite talent so far. It extends the duration of all heal over time's effects on targets by 6 seconds, which is amazing. This means you can cast the Wild Growth, wait for it to get some healing done, then refresh it again, and you can cast another back to back, so you can have like an amazing Wild Growth uptime. You can also precast many rejuvenations, germinations, refresh them together with your Wild Growth. You can do some pretty much amazing stuff and prepare for big raid damage situations. I think Flourish is gonna determine good druids from bad druids in raids. Moving on to the artifact weapon, we have the Essence of Ganir. It's powerful 1.5 mil cooldowns use effect that basically causes your overtime hots to tick faster. How much? 50% faster. And that's insane because when combined with Flourish, you can create a situation where a big part of your raid, if not your whole raid, has hots on them, and they keep ticking and ticking and ticking at an increased rate, creating huge amounts of healing. Good druids are gonna take this to the next level and they're gonna get pretty nice results, and I really like it. It's my personal favorite so far. Moving on to the other minor artifact traits, we have Nature's Essence, causing your wild growth to do 20% of its total healing amount immediately. it is powerful. It's gonna make wild growth insanely. This is one of the best artifact traits. Repetitive blooming causes your life bloom to do its burst of healing every 8 seconds while it's active. Very nice on tanks and PvP members as well in arenas and battlegrounds, stabilizing your team. The artifact traits, the big ones, we have Power of the Resto Druid causing your wild growth a 20% 5 chance to cause your next rejuvenation or regrowth to apply to 2 additional targets. Pretty weak, I mean the chance is not something special, I would like it increased, maybe to a 50%, that would give it some sense. We have Dreamwalker, which is pretty powerful if tuned correctly. Right now it seems weak, because your shield meant to heal all rejuvenation targets instantly for an amount. And the big one is Tranquil Mind, causing your tranquility to be channeled while moving and healing 20% more. I'm pretty sure most druids are gonna be picking this first in raid environments, and this is powerful, this is amazing. And yeah, that's pretty much it about the artifact weapon. So let's go to the conclusion. So this is it about the Resto Druid. All I have to say that I really like this class. I think it's powerful, it has the tools to perform in every situation, every environment. I really like all their spells. No big changes here. Reminder, no big changes. So if you like your druid in Warlords of Draenor, you're gonna be liking it even more in Legion. Hope the gameplay is getting improved in general, so we have slower damage as they promised in Worlds of Draenor, which didn't happen. So the hot based nature of the druid gets to shine, gets to do some amazing healing. Right now in raid testing they seem powerful, but the damage is overtuned anyway. And we're gonna see how it plays out. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. If you have any questions, post them on the comment section. Don't be afraid to request content you might wanna see. If I can do it, I will do it. But right now alpha is pretty broken in some ways. For example, PvP content you can't get in battlegrounds because not enough people playing around, and in general not enough people PvPing. And some heroics that they say they're gonna open, I don't see many groups happening, which is also hard, but don't be afraid to request content. And hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.